I know it's hard as a Trump supporter when you watch the day in and day out attack on President Trump, in particular this week, of course, with the trial in Manhattan, the judge even threatening to throw him in jail if he doesn't show up on a hearing day when Barron Trump is going to be graduating from high school, that if Donald Trump misses the court date that day to go to his son's graduation, he'll throw him in jail. It's hard to watch all that and not get angry and not feel like no matter what happens, they're going to throw this thing and we already know the result and the outcome of the 2024 election. But do we? If you want to know how the election is really going, you've got to watch the Karen reactions of the establishment Democrats.
Concerning new court ruling out of Pennsylvania may mean that thousands of ballots, disproportionately from Democrats, will be rejected during the 2024 elections in the crucial swing state. Pennsylvania will not count timely received mail-in ballots that are simply missing a handwritten date or have the incorrect date on the outer return envelope, a federal appeals court ruled. Voting by mail is notoriously complex in Pennsylvania. To start, there are two envelopes, an inner secrecy envelope and an outer return envelope. Ballots must be sent back with both in order to be counted. In addition, voters must handwrite a date on the outer return envelope. The date is supposed to be the date that the ballot is completed, but voters often write their birthday, the day of the election, a different date, or forget to write the date altogether. At issue now are what's referred to as undated or wrongly dated mail-in ballots. In Pennsylvania's 2022 midterm elections, Democratic voters made up more than 2/3 of the 16,000 mail-in ballots that were rejected, since Democrats vote by mail at a higher rate than their Republican counterparts. I wonder why.
Forget the past. What are you going to do to make sure we don't have problems going forward?
If you have mail-in voting, you automatically have fraud.
Could it be that their number one way of, I don't want to use the word cheating, but their number one way of skewing an election in their favor is not working out that way this time around, and their candidate may actually have to beat Donald Trump? And the reality that that's not going to happen is causing an absolute meltdown.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty, and welcome to the Afternoon Drive. This is the place where you get my rants, my ravings, and my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. Make sure that you smack the bell and click the word all to get notification of each and every time that I upload my insights and my commentary. Thank you so much for sharing the links to this video on your social media platforms. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. It's not time to celebrate. We don't want to premature declare a red wave and it's all over for the Democrats. No, nay, nay. These people are relentless in what it takes to manufacture the results that they want. But right now, they are dispirited. The polling is overwhelming in Donald Trump's favor in all of the swing states. In all of the swing states. The polling that shows that Donald Trump will carry record numbers of black and Hispanic voters, unprecedented in Republican history. They're talking upwards of 25 to maybe even 30% of the black vote may be going to Donald Trump. And I know what you're all thinking, the same thing that I understand, that in every state, no matter how red the state is, there's that one focused blue area, usually centers around a metropolitan area. Upstate New York is overwhelmingly conservative. It is Donald Trump country. Illinois is Donald Trump country till you get to Chicago. New York is Donald Trump country till you get to New York City. Northern California, Trump country. Pennsylvania, Trump country till you get to corrupt Philadelphia. Georgia, Trump country, till you get to Atlanta. But we're seeing now, even in those places, The shift is toward Donald Trump, and he only has to make little inroads there. Just chip away at Joe Biden. He hasn't got to beat Joe Biden in those blue pockets. He just has to make sure that Joe Biden gets less support, less turnout than in 2020. And the fact that everything is skewing in Donald Trump's favor, that now a New York Times poll released just today, and they are certainly no fans of Donald Trump, 70% of voters, 70, that's 7 out of 10, see these trials now as nothing more than a witch hunt by Joe Biden and the Democrats to try to stop a political opponent. They don't believe that this Stormy Daniels case has anything to do with election integrity. It has everything to do with just trying to somehow disqualify Donald Trump from running, bleed him dry financially, and keep him from being out on the campaign trail. 70% of the American voters, that includes Democrats, 70% see this for what it is. None of this is playing well for the Democrats. And the Democrats' go-to, always their big go-to, is mail-in balloting, mail-in voting. And they played it to the hilt in 2020 because of the pandemic. And ballots were coming in literally from everywhere and nowhere. And there would only be one thing on the ballot check, Joe Biden. No other information, but these ballots were all being accepted. And now you're having states, Republican legislation in these states now saying that if the ballots are not filled out completely and accurately the way the laws are written, the ballots will be rejected. And now the Democrats are sounding the alarm. Wait a minute, you're going to disqualify a ballot because the date's wrong? Yeah. And the fact that they're doing this now, we're in April, the fact that they're doing this now, that means that their internal polling is even worse than the public polling you and I have access to, which it means that Joe Biden and the Democrats are in for a bloodbath on election night. It means that we take the White House, the Senate, and the House. It's that bad. And what they're trying to do is one thing Democrats do really, really, really well. They get out in front of a narrative, they create a narrative, and then it becomes the fact. They're very good at deflection, and they're very good at setting the agenda. And what they're doing right now is they're giving the media the talking points so that in November, when Donald Trump wins, all of a sudden, they're going to claim it was because of mail-in ballots. The irony here, because we weren't allowed to talk about that in 2020. It was the most perfect free election ever held in the history of elections. No shenanigans, no problems. Bins of ballots being brought out from under tables. They were there all the time. These weren't smuggled in. Polling places that stopped counting so they could figure out, all right, we're 10,000 votes short for Joe Biden here. Quick, find some. See, none of that's the polling is so overwhelming for Trump, and the fact that the Republicans over the last 4 years have been working through the state legislative process to shore up election laws. Now, there's more that Georgia and Arizona and some other states could have done, but it's so overwhelming in Trump's favor. This is why we have to keep an eye on making sure that illegals don't vote. MSNBC is already trying to set the narrative there. They're trying to say it's like Nazi Germany if you're going to make someone prove their citizenship to vote. What are we, Nazi Germany now? Where are your papers? These are the same people that wanted you to show proof of vaccination to go into McDonald's. But now all of a sudden, it's un-American. It's un-American to find out if you're an American voting in an American election. But it's completely American to tell Americans, you can't come into McDonald's, you can't come into a movie theater, you can't come into the sports arena unless you have taken the magic Alexa You do not have bodily autonomy. We will decide what medications you will and you will not have. The irony, the gall of these people, that literally their own methods have been spun back on them. It's the reason they want the illegals here. It's the reason the border is open. Illegals can come here and without citizenship get a driver's license. Do you know what they do at the DMV when you get your driver's license? They will register you to vote. So now you have state legislators. We need Congress to get on this. You have to prove American citizenship to vote. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Needs to become the law of the land. You have to prove that you are a United States citizen to vote. Bum, ba-dum, bum.
Well, how we as Americans going to prove it?
You have a Social Security card. What did I tell you just a few months ago on here? And I'm going to bring it up again. Yes, I'm a pastor, so sometimes I do have to bring some Bible and theology into this. Haman, who wanted to kill the Jews in his land and did not know that his king had married a Jew. Her name was Esther, Queen Esther. And when Esther revealed that she was a Jew and that Haman was trying to kill her people, the king had Haman killed on his own gallows. The Democrats are about to be hung on their own gallows. Their own election rigging is now about to be used on them. It's funny how some progressives in the Democratic Party understand that the Democrats cheat and rig the primary system so that the establishment Democrat is always the winner of the Democratic nomination. But then they'll insist, yeah, but that doesn't happen in the regular election. Oh, really? The CIA only topples foreign regimes. It would never work in collusion with the Democrats to throw an American election. Oh, really? The reason they're screaming now is the polling and the numbers are so overwhelming for Trump. They can't manufacture enough fake. So we've got to keep the pressure on and watch them weep and cry on election night as the mail-in balloting goes in Trump's favor.